overlaid by, and then there's this. It's a bit different. It's a bit different. There's the ad. I wonder if I get any like Spanish going on in here because I have Pueblo in the title, and that's Spanish. It's Spanish for town, for village. Ciudad, you know. That's a fake one. I've been doing this 2 days in a row, man. This is crazy. This is crazy. But not to mention, I did more of it the other day, so that's a thing. Neat. So we're getting back into things. We're in chapter 2-2 now. I didn't even acknowledge the fact that we'd moved into chapter 2 after defeating I probably did. Defeating Del Lago. Now, interesting, the psychological effect that nighttime has on the game, but man, so we're about to go back into the village at night, and let me tell you, it's the idea of transformation, which is something that I always push in games because I always look at things, you know, like this house and say, man, this place looks like shit. I would love to see it in its prime. This is a curious case, actually, because to me, the town of Pueblo, the village that we've gone through, like, we're about to do backtracking, and that's like something that people don't particularly like in games. But what's amazing to me is that the change from day to night in this game is like kind of crazy, actually, because I find this section of the game like really, like, I feel like I'm on eggshells the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily scary because you're not necessarily losing or gaining more powers, but it's really interesting because you're about to go through the village. You now have Ashley, who you have to look out for, even though it's really going to be irrelevant, because I'm going to alleviate that first. But you have something else, like, sort of on your mind, you know, while all this is happening, you know? So, I don't know, nighttime to me in this game is really interesting, and it's really interesting how they use it. And again, I truly believe that the first third of this game, and I think a lot of people would agree, the first third of this game is pretty much the best part of the game. Perhaps just for its originality, but still, it's yeah, it is really interesting how, you know, you go through the village. It's not super scary. It's a little freaky, you know, and it's just not that scary. But this, like, sort of transformation that happens when darkness falls over the village, it's pretty interesting, and they really do a lot to try and sell that point, which is why this is my entire 3-minute preface to this. I'm gonna, like, not talk a whole lot when I get out of this door. Partially because I'll be nervous, but partially because that's just I just like want you to be able to sort of take in the atmosphere of this place now that this large change has occurred. So, okay, it's been 4 minutes. Shut the heck up, punk, and go outside.
Wait.
So yeah, I'm gonna come back in here and now I'll start to talk about this, but that's funny. Oh my god. Anyways, yeah, so you can imagine the first time, like, okay, maybe I didn't do a very good job of selling how scary it is, but, like, you can imagine coming through here the first time, okay, you're back in the village. Yeah, you're kind of used to, like, getting attacked in the village, but this time, you have this crazy thing, because the first action sequence they give you with Ashley is nothing. You shoot a barrel, they go down, you fight 2 people, that's it. So when you come back into the village, you're like, oh shit, you know, you realize now you're up against the threat of the plaga, you know, of any enemy you kill sort of turning against you, you know, and I mean, not that they're not already against you, you know, any enemy you kill sort of getting worse just by association, you know, and you know, if you don't think to put Ashley somewhere where they can't get to her, which you probably won't because, you know, you're not used to her yet. You know, you'll have her trailing along. She'll probably get hurt, you know, and stuck on fences apparently. There are bear traps along here now that are a little bit hard to see when you're, you know, just rolling through here like a crazy dude. You know. So, I can see where this section in particular would be overwhelming. It's an underrated section of the game, I would say, because it's really, like, the music is really creepy, the fact that it's nighttime is creepy, the fact that you have Ashley to deal with and plagas to deal with, it's like, it's a really good way to do backtracking, and it doesn't get enough credit. This is another mechanic with Ashley. Sometimes you can have her slam herself shut in a dumpster, and then that'll happen. So, yeah. It's a good way to keep her out of harm's way. And the game does this. The game tends to give you places in a room that are, you know, good to keep Ashley in. You know what I mean? It doesn't, like... It doesn't always put her on the front line, you know what I mean? Sarah and the third party. Whereabouts of Sarah are still unknown. Most likely, he's still using an old secret passage taught to him by his grandfather who used to hunt in this region long ago. I'm pretty certain that he's hiding our property somewhere in the forest. If his grandfather was still alive, I would have used him to find Sarah. But how did he find the egg injected into his body? And the fact that he was able to remove it before it hatched is concerning. Another factor that concerns me is that Sarah escaped with our property just before the American agent arrived. I don't believe that was just a coincidence. There has to be another player involved in this. In order to settle this whole situation, we have to capture Sarah and wait for the effects of the drug to wear off before we inject him with another egg. Everyone's getting pregnant around here. Once this is done, whoever is behind all of this will surface. Nobody shall interfere with our plans. Those who do shall suffer severe consequences.